one exam out of all the law entrances, NLSAT 2022 is over. Answer key is out for part A. In this video, I'm going to discuss the same, and also I will discuss how was the examination for everyone in general and what can we expect out of it. Hi guys, I'm Ayushi, your mentor for law entrance exams, and welcome to Law Digest. So, जहाँ तक एग्जामिनेशन की बात है, this examination was conducted on 24th of April. I also went to give this examination, but obviously I did not attempt the paper properly because obviously I did not want to spoil a seat for someone else. And I was just there to have a look at the question paper, what was the difficulty level, and what can we expect out of the paper. So part A we already saw, as per what they had promised in the sample essays and in the guidelines that they had given, there were passages which were followed by about 9 to 10 questions each, making it to be a total of 75 questions. For English, we saw that for vocabulary and grammar, there were not many questions as such, but however, you can say 4 to 5 questions were from each area depending on the passage. In some passages, there was no grammar that was asked, and it was pretty easy, very easy grammar asked. Vocabulary was also very easy, no tough words. The words were such that you could have drawn inference from the passage itself, so it wasn't really tough. Then there were critical reasoning questions. These questions were the main highlight of the examination because they were about 33 to 35 questions, we can say, were from critical reasoning. But then again, these questions weren't very difficult, just that it might have taken some time to go through all the passages and give answers to all the critical reasoning questions. Mostly these questions revolved around the fact that what is the argument, what will support the argument, what can be inferred from the argument. Questions like these. Basic questions, as we had expected, were there. There was nothing out of the box as such. Then for current affairs, there were about 23 to 25 questions, we can say, for current affairs were there. Current affairs, some students have told me that they felt that the current affairs was difficult. I think the current affairs was average. Some things were very common and very expected. They were important events that actually happened, and current affairs from there could have come. And there are certain questions which we had also discussed in our monthly current affairs videos that we keep posting, and even legal current affairs for that matter, and those questions found a place in this examination as well. Then coming on to legal, so almost every passage had one legal question. There were only 1 or 2 passages that did not have a legal question as such. So we can say about 8 to 10 questions were from legal reasoning, and these questions were easy. However, there are points where there are 1 or 2 questions where you might feel the options are very close, but then what I'll do is I won't discuss all these questions. I'll just discuss the legal part of it, then I'll discuss the part B as well. Part B question paper is not out, but since I was there and I have noted certain points down from part B, I'm going to discuss them with you so that you can analyze it for yourself, that if you've answered the questions correctly or not, if you've used proper reasoning. Also for the essay, there were many students who texted me up saying that the paper was lengthy and they could not complete the essay part of it. So I think that's the thing for most of the people, and let us see, let us look at the answers here, and then we will get on to discussing about the cutoffs, which everyone keeps waiting for. Now here, passage A, COVID related passage, and we could find passages. The thing was that we could find 2 passages, they were from the month of April. So this was not expected, that the exam is in April and they're asking passages from 6th and 7th of April as well. So that part of current affairs would not have been covered by students, most of the students, because it generally doesn't happen, and we expect that the paper is set a month before the examination. Now here, COVID passage obviously had to be there. This is all English, you can see this. Now let's look at the legal question. Here they've said, basically they've told that constitutional there are powers that are allocated, executive, legislative and judicial powers are allocated. Here it says constitution provides legislature as the sole authority to make new laws. तो न्यू लॉ की अथॉरिटी किसके पास है? लेजिस्लेचर के पास. जुडिशरी के पास क्या पावर है? जुडिशरी हैज द पावर टू रिजॉल्व डिस्प्यूट्स अकॉर्डिंग टू द लॉ. In the course of doing so, it may interpret laws. Here it doesn't say it may make laws. What does interpret mean? It means that you can read down through the laws, what the laws are, you can explain, you can interpret, put it to a situation and give you conclusion. So here a folk artist, he suffered, that's the question that they've put up, that he suffered economic hardship due to COVID and he approached the court that it is the state responsibility to support such artists and legislature must pass a law to economically support these artists. So here they've asked you which of the following would be most accurate in this context. So here the options they say court. Here it says if the legislature does not in itself act, then judiciary can step in and force the legislature to do so. Here we've read the whole argument. The reasoning, the condition that is given in the question, it says judiciary has the power to resolve disputes and interpret law. So judiciary will get into the disputes and will interpret law. Here option 1 is not meeting this criteria. Judiciary cannot force the legislature to make laws. Part B is the correct answer here because it clearly says court cannot order the legislature to pass such laws since legislature has the alone power to make these new laws. Then option C will also not be applicable, that laws cannot be passed on the request of a single individual. Many people, in these questions, they might feel on the basis of common logic, they might feel, okay, yeah, this is also correct. एक individual के basis पे पूरा law change नहीं होगा, you might feel. But here we just go by the principle in the question. I've time and again explained while we were preparing for this examination. I kept explaining this, that you have to stick to the principle given in the question. So this is not the answer. Court can pass such an order since helping those in need. All this is moral preaching that is happening. We just have to stick to the reasoning. Again, that is what I would say, and this is not the answer therefore. Then here these questions are relating to current affairs and critical reasoning. I hope you've got them correct. I'm just discussing this Grammy Award question. I had specifically dealt with this in my current affairs video. Ricky Kesh, he won the Grammy Award. Then moving forward, WHO, we had also discussed in the international news section. I have discussed this. Who is the Director General of WHO? Basic. Then next is relating to feminism. This passage relates to feminism. These questions, I hope you've got them correct. Government passes a law called Gender Equality Act. No person shall be denied equal opportunity for employment or treated in a discriminatory or unfair manner on the ground of gender or sex. So here the question says that Kimi is a sales manager. Company का नया rule आया है. The company says it would retain only such women employees who have children because they believe that such women are mature, and women who do not have children, their employment will be terminated. Company's management states that they are more mature and patient and they make better employees. Now, Kimi does not have children and doesn't want to lose her job. She decides to challenge this. Here, if you will see, you might get confused in option C and D. Let's first look at the other options. Company new rule does not violate since it was announced before the new law was passed. There is no such condition given herein. The date is not the issue here. The issue here should be that there should not be any discrimination. Then since it is not discriminating against all women, this is also not correct. it is not specifically about women here. The section does not deal with women as such. It says gender or sex, so there can be male also and female also. The company's new rule violates section 2 because Kimi wishes to continue her job but cannot do so as a result of the rule. Now here somewhat you might feel that this can be the right answer because Kimi is not able to pursue her job because of the new rule. She wishes to continue, and here also it says that Kimi does not want to lose her job. But then this is the fact that is there. What is the law? How are we applying the law in this situation? Have we applied section 2 here? We've just used the term discriminatory unfair, but then here we have to see discriminatory unfair on the grounds of sex or gender. So she can take an argument that it applies only to women and not men, because there will be men who also will not be having children. Why aren't they being terminated? So this is the correct answer here. Moving forward, these are all basic questions. Then indexes, poverty index dealt with in the PDF. If not the videos, then current affairs PDF already deals with such things. Indexes, awards, appointments, sports, everything we've provided to you there. These are all critical reason questions in the middle. Farmers protest. I've been time and again saying that farmers protest is an important issue and there can be a passage on that. Now coming on to the legal part of it. Bhubaneswar is a cattle farmer who owns 30 cows and bulls. So here basically he makes a living out of this. Now an act comes into place which says that cows, bulls, calves may only be sold in APMC market, and any sale outside of APMC is prohibited. Here Rameshwar, an old friend, approached him requesting that he sell him the bull. And he promises that he'll look after the bull, and Bhubaneswar agreed. Here it just says that he agreed. It does not say that he sells it to him. It might happen that he has agreed that he will sell it to him in the APMC. So here if we look at the options, here it says he gave the bull at his farm rather than APMC. Here facts do not say that he gave the bull at the farm. It is not clear. Then moving on to next part, Bhubaneswar gave the bull to Rameshwar, but there is no indication that he had sold it to Rameshwar. As such, he did not violate. This is the correct answer because that is what we essentially get from here, that he agreed. Whatever he agreed on, it is not clear. It does not use the word sale. Then Rameshwar had approached Bhubaneswar at the farm, and so it is Rameshwar who violated. This is not the condition. The section does not anywhere say that who violates or who does. It is irrespective. Then since plowing a field is a critical aspect, now these options are totally avoided. Where it comes to moral preachings, these are not applicable because we have to go by the reasoning. Then moving forward to another passage, COP26 has been a very important event. We've time and again discussed in the current affairs videos. These are all generic questions. Coming on to our legal question. Parliament enacts a law, ESA Act. Now here it says ministry may notify an area as ESA based on the consideration of biological diversity, and district magistrate who is located may take all necessary actions for protecting ESA and to prevent and control the pollution, including restricting areas in which such processes may be carried out. So here it basically says, it speaks of the power that the district magistrate has, what all can he do. Now in this area it says that the moment this law comes, the district magistrate issues an executive order that states that Prakritipur is ESA and institutes several measures under section 2 to protect. And these are all the measures that have been suggested, that have been ordered by the DM. Now looking at the options, here I feel this is one question I feel that you can challenge. because the answer can be A as well. The DM has unlimited discretionary powers to undertake any measures within our jurisdiction, and so the action is valid. Here, the action is valid. Why? Because here it says the DM may take all measures necessary for protecting ESA. Nowhere does section 2 speak of that she cannot pass an executive order. Nowhere does it say. The options, as per the answer key says DM does not have the power to issue executive order. This is dealt nowhere, no reasoning behind it. So as per me, the answer can be A here. You I think today is the last day for challenging the answers. Till 9 p.m. you can challenge the answer. So if this answer has not been challenged, you can go ahead and challenge it just in case you've got it right. Then another one relates to the issue of removal of Imran Khan. Here, this particular question, I had stressed on this so many times. It was a part of our legal current affairs division series as well, that Aisha Malik has been appointed as the first female judge. Rather, there's one more question that we see Ketanji Brown ko leke. I had specifically discussed it in the current affairs that these are important legal current affairs question. In case you're preparing for any other examination also, they still hold a lot of importance. So this one doesn't really have a legal reasoning question. Coming on to another passage, speaking about fingerprints and all. Criminal Procedure Identification Bill. Coming on to the question that we need to see, question number 53. Here basically it says that police, there is a law that comes up that all citizens need to provide their fingerprints in the nearest police station, and here it basically says that police officers can check all the information stored and all these things are there. Now we have to tell what argument will support our case. The arguments that are given are law will make it difficult for the persons who have been accused to leave the past behind. This has been dealt with in the passage as well. This is also provided in the passage. Right to privacy has been dealt in the passage. Oppressed communities will be targeted. This part is also dealt in the passage. Therefore, option D here will be the correct answer indeed. These are the further questions that are there. Coming on to another passage of UAPA. Here, Ketanji Brown Jackson. The question that I was speaking about earlier is given here. Moving forward, let's deal with question number 62. No person shall be denied right to consult or being defended by a legal practitioner of his choice. That is what Article 22 provides. Here, Parliament amends UAPA to state that all trials must conclude within 6 months. And if the trial does not conclude, then the person will be released on bail. Here in this question, facts are given. There was an accused under UAPA. He had appointed a lawyer earlier. Then the case was withdrawn by him. Another lawyer, he filed an application for appointing another lawyer, and the judge declined because he felt that the case will not be completed in 6 months. The judge said that you can continue the trial by yourself only. At the end of the trial, Amit got convicted, and but he was given a lighter punishment than that was asked for. Now here Amrit wants to contest this. How will he argue? What can be his argument? The judge could not have denied legal representation to Amrit in order to meet the deadline imposed by UAPA, since Constitution guarantees it. This is correct actually, because it here, if you will see, it clearly says no person shall be denied the right to consult and be defended by practitioner. Here, although it says that Parliament has amended the law that within 6 months it must conclude, but then at the same time, this right cannot be denied to any convict. So this is the correct answer here. If we look at the other options, here it cannot be said that he was ensuring the deadline. So otherwise a potentially dangerous criminal would have been released. Here we see immediately things beyond reasoning are being talked about. So the moment we see such lines, we do not go by them, we just go by the reasoning. Again, in these also something extra has been given that is not required. Then coming on to the last passage, and I'm just skipping all this in order to save time. 75, Good Samaritan Law. The law is that a person who sees a road accident, he shall stop, shall provides it that it is mandatory that you need to stop and render all assistance to the victim of the accident, unless doing so will impose a significant burden on the person and failure will impose a fine. So here there is a person who's running late for a flight and is on the way to airport, and he sees an accident that has happened. He slows down his car and he saw that the victim is trying to get up, and he thinks that the victim is fine, and he rushes to the airport. CCTV camera captures the incident, and he is imposed with police wants to take a penalty against him. What can he argue? So Raab did slow down, but victim appeared fine at a quick glance. Here, this is from the facts. This does not actually involve the law in the question. Section 4 does not say that if you see that the person is fine, then you may continue. It says wherever you see a road accident, you have to stop. It is mandatory. Unless आपका कुछ बहुत बड़ा नुकसान नहीं हो रहा है. It does not say unless you see the person is fine. So that is why some people might be getting confused. Why is A not involved here and the correct answer is B? This is the reasoning essentially, and B here will be the correct answer. So these are all part A questions that we have discussed. Just in case you have any doubts in these, you can challenge them. As far as the cutoffs are concerned, for cutoffs, I generally don't, comment on cutoffs like this. Normally, what I always say is that 60 to 65% of the paper is generally the cutoff. So if we have 75 marks का हमारा पेपर है, then यहाँ पर हमारा 60% हो गया 45 marks. And also, incorporating other factors like this exam happened for the first time, difficult examination, lengthy examination, there was no guidance as such on this examination because it is for the first time this examination is happening. So on that basis, we can say that it might not even meet 45, it will be below that. So that is what I will say for cutoffs. In fact, I am holding a poll. You can check the poll. You can see how many people vote, and let us see what is their response on their score. What score are they getting now that the answer keys are out and they must have calculated their scores? We will see from there itself what is the score, and you can adjust the cutoff from the result of the score only. Now, quickly, I'll just tell you about part B. Now this part A is done. I hope you were able to attempt all the questions. Here attempting the questions was very important because in any case these marks will not be included in your merit. Coming on to part B questions. First legal reasoning question that was there was on the fact that a person had gone for an interview at the school. There he met a fellow candidate. He himself was impressed by that candidate who spoke well, but then later he gets to know that he is a daughter of an industrialist and is also invested. She had also invested in the shares of the company held by the wife of the principal. So these things are there on both ends. You can argue from both ends. Arguments can be that when he agreed that she was very confident and she had left an impression on him as well. So it means that she did have the caliber to get the job. And on the other end, if you want to say that it is a rigged interview, she's the daughter of an industrialist and shares ka companies ka involvement hai aisa, then obviously there can be a discrimination that is there. So from both ends, these can be the arguments that are there. Then high school में rigorous discipline impose करने के लिए कुछ conditions हैं, and अब इस वाले केस में there is a person who hits the boy, the faculty hits the boy and the faculty says it is for their good only. Now here in the question, if you want to argue for their side, the question clearly says that they will take any measure for discipline. That is what was written, that they will go to any lengths to ensure discipline. Very strict discipline will be there. So the person would have been aware. In fact, his own conduct was bad and he should have been punished. That can be your argument. And from the other side, obviously, it can be that in the name of discipline, you cannot hit. And after hitting the lecturer, and after hitting, the professor cannot take this defense that it was for his own good, that it was that he did so. Then another was the fact that a person, Bahubali, he follows Rais, and Rais jumps off to protect himself because he was receiving threats from the other person. So for both sides, your arguments can be that he jumped because he wanted to escape that threat. He was fearful, he got scared, and he jumped up. On the other hand, it can be the fact that he voluntarily took that risk on himself of jumping out. I hope you did not use the term voluntary non-fit injuria there, because I've time and again told you guys that law is not to be used. Then the other thing can be that he owed money and he had to return that money back. So Bahubali was right in chasing him, because he also will face a loss if he doesn't do so. Then another question is on masks, that if you are not wearing mask, it will be fine, and if you see another person not wearing mask, then also it will be fined. Then this girl, she was rushing to her examination center and she saw the neighbors were not wearing masks, but she did not complain. That is the whole query. But she can obviously say that it was an examination and she wouldn't have got into the whole complaining part of it. It does not make any sense. And on the other end, obviously, it can be that if it was a law, then she had to follow it. Irrespective, she could have told someone else to report it to the team, whoever was to be reported to. She could have asked someone else if she was in a rush, that go and complain about these people that they're not wearing masks. Then domestic violence, there was this question on employee being terminated on account of domestic violence, minimum maximum punishment is given. I am losing the track of the main issue that was here. So I'll just skip this question. They've asked you, will you show leniency as a judge in this question? Then for the next one, an online education platform is there, and here they had told people that they will be mailing through mailing about the courses. Any important communication will happen through the email, and monthly fees needs to be given at the end of the month there. And there was a person who dropped out in between, who wanted to drop out in between, and because the fees was raised up. And now there was a person who had been receiving emails on the rise of the fees, and it went to his spam folder. He did not check those emails. So here both the sides can be argued from that, since mails went to his spam, he did not have any idea as to what is happening. The company should have taken active steps to let him know, and the company obviously refused to refund the money to him. And for the company, the issue can be that they had already told these people that communication will be through email, so he had to be active on his emails. Company will not refund the money as such. In any case, even if you're dropping out, they are not asking you for next month fees, and they're following normal equality principles. Then another question involved EWP policy, where it said that no discrimination should be there. However, night shift was not there for females because of many reasons. So here also you can quote those reasons again in the favor of females. There were females who were both for and against it. So in order to be on the for side, you could have quoted the facts itself from the question, and to be on the against side, if you want to say, then you can say that why should they be discriminated against. They should also, females should also be coming, and it is equally burdensome for both the sexes. That could have been your argument. Then there was another question where a company was engaged in a business where it said that people can purchase phones from them and other accessories of the same company should be used, and it is water friendly, so if a person goes underwater, the phone will still work. And this sales agent had sold phones, he had absconded, people used the phone, and they could not do it. So because also there was a fact that they had purchased cases from another brand. Now here the main argument is the fact that company had clearly specified that your accessory should be from the same brand only. And for the other side, the argument can be that the sales agent did not inform the customer that it had to be from the same brand, and further he is absconding. It shows that he was had a guilty intention towards the person. He wanted to defraud people. All these things just for the matter of sales, because he was getting compensation. So he hid certain facts. And from the company side, it can be the fact that they had clearly mentioned, they clearly told sales agent was involved, they could not have done anything. These can be your arguments. Then there was another question on RWA, wherein non-vegetarian food was not allowed. So in that circumstance also, uh, these protests were held in the garden, the premises, the field that was open for general purposes, and other things could not have been conducted. There also your arguments could have been that if people have agreed to be a part of, they've purchased a property, they agreed to be a member of the RWA, so they are bound by whatever directions RWA is coming out with. They cannot protest against them. The field is for people, and if they're conducting indefinite protests, people are facing problems out of that. They're using microphone speakers, disturbing the whole community. While on the other end, the argument can be that they cannot be stopped from deciding as to what food they will eat. Their orders are being looked at. This is a total barge into the privacy of the people. It cannot be done, and they are free to protest. Just because they had purchased a flat does not mean that if anything goes wrong they cannot complain about it. ये आपकी arguments बन सकती थी. And finally there was another question wherein a person was going for an interview, she missed a flight, and then she took another flight which was again delayed. So there also your arguments could have been the fact she already knew that she will not reach for the interview, still she took that flight, and the company did their best. They offered her discount as well on the new flight. If due to weather conditions, the or the traffic, the pilot could not reach, that is not the problem of the company, that is her own sheer luck that was involved. She cannot complain about it. While on the other end, it can be that she has paid a higher price, another price for another flight, and she was stuck in jam. She also could not help. That is why she got late, and it is not voluntarily that she missed the flight. Now that she's taken another flight, it was only for the purpose of going there, and now that is also not being met. So these could have been your arguments. These are all your legal reasoning questions. For essays, there was a question on approach of towards refugees from South Asia. जो रोहिंग्या refugees का इतना बड़ा issue चलता आ रहा है. I hope you were reading the newspapers and you could have answered this issue easily. One nation, one election happened in November. This has also been discussed. In fact, it had also been discussed on our Instagram. Then labor conditions in gig economy and state regulation. Generic basic topics for essays were there, although there are people who haven't completed this essay part of it, but let's see how it happens. Whatever cutoff comes up, I just hope that in the legal reasoning part you have not quoted the law, you've given basic reasoning, relevant facts बता के reasoning बताई है. The way that I told you earlier, I've told many times how are you supposed to answer part B questions, and in fact already people who are enrolled for the modules, they were very clear about it. So I wish you all the very best. And just in case people have not performed up to the mark, because see, in any case this is an examination with very less seats. I had initially also mentioned this, that go for an experience bit of it. Now that the exam is done, it's over, forget about it. Work upon other exams, work upon the forms that you filled, just in case you've missed out to fill any form. Please check, keep your backups ready so that you don't have a problem at the end. NLSAT form application has also been extended up till 29th April. Fill that just in case you haven't. And new applications are already open for now. BHU hasn't come out. These can be your backup areas. With this, I'll just end this video. All the very best to all of you. And for more such guidance on legal career or legal current affairs, keep following us here, subscribe to our channel and also follow us on Instagram.